The eviction notice is taped to my door like a scarlet letter. 30 days to vacate. That's what 7 months of lying gets you in Providence. A studio apartment you can't afford, and a piece of paper that makes it official. Shane's probably in his new place right now, the 2-bedroom in Federal Hill he'd been saving for. The one we were supposed to move into together before I decided that Jerome from my CrossFit class was worth throwing away 3 years of stability. I tear the notice down and crumple it up, as if that'll make it disappear. As if anything I do now can undo the spectacular mess I created when I offered Shane a hall pass to sleep with Madison. Steady, trusting Shane who brought me coffee every morning and fixed my car when it broke down, and I was so sure he never suspected that I'd been meeting Jerome for more than just workout sessions. But let me back up. Let me tell you exactly how I destroyed the only good relationship I'll probably ever have, all because I couldn't keep my legs closed and thought I was clever enough to manipulate my way out of consequences. Shane Novak was everything Jerome wasn't. Reliable, steady, the kind of guy who showed up when he said he would. We met at a food truck festival 3 years ago when I spilled hot sauce all over his shirt. Instead of getting mad, he laughed and said it improved the design. I knew right then he was different from the guys I usually dated, the ones who treated me like crap and left me crying into my wine at 2 a.m. Shane worked in IT for a hospital downtown. Not glamorous, but it paid well and he was good at it. He had this little house in Cranston that he'd bought and fixed up himself, spending weekends installing tile and replacing fixtures. I'd watch him work, all focused and careful, and think about how lucky I was to find someone who actually had his life together. The first year was perfect. He introduced me to his family, loud Italians who fed me until I couldn't breathe and treated me like I'd always been there. His mom taught me how to make sauce from scratch. His sister became my shopping buddy. I felt like I belonged somewhere for the first time since my own family imploded when I was 16. The second year was comfortable. Maybe too comfortable. Shane worked a lot, sometimes pulling 12-hour days when the hospital's systems needed updating. I'd gotten a job at a marketing firm, nothing fancy, but it paid enough that I could finally afford decent clothes and not stress about rent. We had routines: Tuesday night Chinese food, Saturday morning farmer's market, Sunday dinner with his family. By year 3, I was bored out of my mind. I know how that sounds. I know I should have been grateful, but gratitude doesn't fix the itch that starts when you realize you're 25 and already living like you're 50, when the guy you're with would rather spend Friday night debugging code than going out, when sex becomes something penciled in between laundry and meal prep. I remember one Friday night, I bought a new, slinky black dress, hoping we'd finally go out somewhere nice. Shane came home, kissed my forehead, and said, "Sorry, babe. Server's down at the hospital." Gotta work. He spent the next 6 hours on his laptop while I watched a movie by myself. He didn't even notice the dress. It wasn't mean, it was just our routine. That's when Jerome showed up. I'd joined CrossFit as a New Year's resolution, one of those stupid promises you make to yourself about becoming a better person. Shane had bought me the membership for Christmas, said he wanted to support my fitness goals. He even offered to join with me, but 5 a.m. workouts didn't fit his schedule. So I went alone. Jerome was one of the coaches. 6'3", muscles in places Shane didn't even have places, the kind of smile that made you forget your own name. He flirted with everyone. That was just his personality. But with me it felt different. Lingered a little longer during form corrections, stood a little closer during demonstrations. "You're getting strong," he'd say, hand on my lower back as I attempted another deadlift. "Shane's a lucky guy." I'd mentioned Shane specifically to set boundaries, to remind myself I had someone good at home. But Jerome never seemed threatened by it. If anything, it made him try harder. "Bet he can't lift what I can lift," Jerome would joke. "He lifts my spirits," I'd reply, trying to keep things light. "That's cute. But can he lift you against a wall?" I should have switched classes. Should have told Shane that Jerome was being inappropriate. Should have done literally anything other than what I did, which was let the flirtation escalate, until one morning after class, Jerome asked if I wanted to grab a smoothie. Just a smoothie, that's what I told myself. Shane was at work, probably elbow deep in server maintenance. What was the harm in a post-workout drink with a friend? The harm was that one smoothie turned into two, then coffee the next week. Then suddenly I was texting Jerome all day while Shane sat next to me on the couch, oblivious. The harm was that I started looking forward to CrossFit not for the exercise, but for the attention. The harm was that when Jerome finally kissed me in the parking lot after 6 weeks of building tension, I kissed him back. The affair lasted 4 months. 4 months of lies and deleted texts and fake evening work meetings. 4 months of Shane asking why I seemed distant and me blaming stress from the office. 4 months of Jerome making me feel 25 again instead of like someone playing house. I was careful, so careful. Different email accounts, cash payments for hotels, never the same place twice. I'd watched enough true crime shows to know how people got caught. But the guilt was eating me alive. Every time Shane brought me coffee, every time he fixed something around the house without being asked, every time he told me he loved me, I felt like I was drowning. So when Madison contacted him, I panicked. Madison Yang was Shane's high school crush, the one who got away. He'd told me about her early in our relationship, how he'd been crazy about her but too shy to make a move. She'd moved to California after graduation, but they'd stayed friends on social media. Casual likes and birthday wishes, nothing that worried me. Until she messaged him saying she was coming back to Providence for a few days and wanted to catch up. Shane showed me the message immediately. That's the kind of guy he was, transparent about everything. Look, Madison reached out. She wants to grab dinner or something while she's in town. What do you think? Any normal girlfriend would have either said yes, come along, or no, I'm not comfortable with that. But I wasn't a normal girlfriend. I was a guilty girlfriend who'd spent the morning in a hotel room with her CrossFit coach. Why don't you invite me too? Shane asked, already typing a response. Make it less weird. That's when the idea hit me. The absolutely brilliant, foolproof idea that would solve all my problems. Actually, I said, trying to sound casual, why don't you just go alone? Shane looked up from his phone. Really? Yeah, I mean, she was your friend first. Might be awkward with me there. I guess, but... You know what? You should sleep with her. The words hung in the air between us. Shane's face went through about 6 different expressions before landing on confusion. What? I'm serious. You had such a crush on her. This is your chance. Penny, what are you talking about? I was already too deep to back out. I'm giving you a hall pass. One night, no questions asked. You can finally be with Madison. Are you feeling okay? Did you hit your head at CrossFit? I'm fine. I think it would be good for you. For us. Good for us? How would me sleeping with another woman be good for us? I hadn't thought that far ahead. My brain was scrambling, trying to make this insane offer sound reasonable. It's like an opportunity. Think about it. You always wondered what if about her. Now you can find out, get it out of your system, and we can move on with 0 regrets. It's a win-win. I don't want to find out. I want to be with you. But don't you? Even a little bit? She was your dream girl. When I was 17, I'm 28 now. You're my dream girl. God, why did he have to be so perfect? Why couldn't he just be a little bit terrible, give me something to justify what I'd been doing? Look, I pressed on. I'm trying to be a cool girlfriend here. How many women would give their boyfriend permission to sleep with an old crush? None, because it's insane. It's not insane. It's progressive. It's definitely something. I spent the next hour trying to convince him this was a good idea. The more he resisted, the more I pushed. If he slept with Madison, then we'd be even. He wouldn't know we were even, but the cosmic scales would be balanced. I could stop feeling like garbage every time he looked at me with those trusting brown eyes. Is this a test? He finally asked. Are you testing me? No! God, why does everything have to be a test? Because my girlfriend is trying to pimp me out to my high school crush, and that feels like a test. I'm not pimping you out. I'm giving you an opportunity. An opportunity for what? To explore. I don't want to explore. I want to eat Chinese food and watch Netflix with you. But I wouldn't let it go. Couldn't let it go. The guilt was eating me alive, and this felt like the only solution that didn't involve actually confessing. I brought it up the next day, and the next. Each time Shane got more frustrated, more confused. "Why are you pushing this so hard?" he asked on day 3. "What's really going on?" "Nothing's going on. I just think it would be hot." "You think me sleeping with another woman would be hot?" "Yes." "You're lying." "I'm not lying." "Then look me in the eyes and tell me why you really want this." I couldn't. I stared at the floor, at the wall, anywhere but at him. "I told you. I think it would be good for us." Bullshit. Shane never cursed. The fact that he was cursing now meant I'd pushed him too far. "You know what I think?" he said. "I think you either already cheated and you're trying to even the score, or you want to cheat and you need me to go first so you don't feel guilty." My blood ran cold. "That's ridiculous." "Is it? Because I can't think of any other reason my girlfriend would be desperately trying to get me to sleep with someone else." "I'm not desperate." "You brought it up 6 times in 3 days. That's desperate." "Maybe I just want you to be happy." "I am happy." "Or I was until you started acting crazy." We went to bed angry that night. Shane on his side, me on mine, a miles-wide gulf between us in our queen-sized bed. I lay there thinking about Jerome, about the hotel room that morning, about how his hands were rougher than Shane's, and how that should have excited me, but mostly just made me miss gentleness. The next morning, Shane was gone before I woke up. No coffee on the nightstand, no kiss goodbye. Just a note. Need some space to think. Staying at my brother's for a few days. I panicked. This wasn't the plan. He was supposed to sleep with Madison, I was supposed to forgive him magnanimously, and then we'd be even without him ever knowing about Jerome. Instead, I'd driven him away by being too pushy about something that made no sense. I called him, straight to voicemail, texted him, read but no response, showed up at his brother's house. Tony answered the door with a look that could have frozen hell. "He doesn't want to see you," Tony said. "I need to explain." "Explain what?" "Why you're trying to force my brother to cheat on you?" "Yeah, he told me all about your weird hall pass thing." "It's not weird. It's fucked up is what it is. Shane's the best guy I know and you're playing some sick game with him." "I'm not playing a game." "Then what are you doing?" I didn't have an answer, not one I could say out loud. I went home and did what any reasonable person would do. I drank an entire bottle of wine and made everything worse. Texted Shane about 50 times, each message more unhinged than the last. "Please come home." "I'm sorry I was being weird." "I don't really want you to sleep with her." "Actually, maybe I do." "I don't know what I want." "I miss you. Why won't you talk to me?" "This is so unfair." "I was trying to do something nice." "Fine. Ignore me." "I hate you." "I didn't mean that." "Please." By the time I passed out, I'd probably sent 100 messages. When I woke up, I had one response. "We need to talk. Meet me at Nico's at 2. Nico's was our Chinese place. The fact that he wanted to meet there felt like a good sign. Maybe he was ready to move past this, pretend the whole hall pass thing never happened. I showed up early, ordered our usual Kung Pao chicken for him, beef and broccoli for me, and waited. Shane walked in right at 2, looking tired and sad in a way that made my chest ache. "Hey," I said. "Hey?" He sat down, didn't touch the food. "I've been thinking a lot about us." "About what you said." "Shane, I'm so sorry. I don't know what I was thinking." "I do." I froze. "What?" "I think I know exactly what you were thinking. You cheated on me, didn't you?" The lie was automatic. "No. God, no. How could you even think that?" Because nothing else makes sense. The hall pass, the pushing, the insistence that I sleep with Madison. You're trying to even the score. That's not... Who is he? There's no he. Is it someone from work? That guy from your CrossFit class who's always commenting on your Instagram? Jerome. He meant Jerome. Of course Shane had noticed. Shane noticed everything. Filed it away in that careful, methodical way of his. I'd thought I was being so smart, but he'd been collecting evidence without even realizing it. All those nights I thought he was oblivious on the couch while I texted, he was just quiet, watching, thinking. He hadn't put the pieces together yet. But something in him already knew I was pulling away. You're being paranoid, I said, but my voice shook. Am I? Then explain the hall pass, make it make sense. I already told you. You told me bullshit, tell me the truth. I couldn't. The truth would end everything. So I did what I'd been doing for 4 months. I lied. Maybe I'm just bored, okay? Maybe I thought spicing things up would help. Spicing things up by having me sleep with another woman. Yes. That doesn't even make sense. Not everything has to make sense. God, you're so logical about everything. Maybe I just wanted to do something crazy. Then dye your hair. Get a tattoo. Don't try to destroy our relationship. I'm not trying to destroy anything. But I was. I'd been destroying it for months, one lie at a time. And now, sitting across from the best man I'd ever known, watching him try to understand something that would never make sense because the truth was so much worse than his suspicions, I realized I'd already lost him. I'm done, Shane said quietly. What? I'm done. This whole thing, whatever it is, I can't do it anymore. Shane, please? You're either cheating on me or you're so unhappy that you're trying to blow us up. Either way, we're over. You're breaking up with me because I offered you a hall pass? I'm breaking up with you because you've lost your mind and you won't tell me why. He stood up to leave. I grabbed his hand, desperate. Wait! Please let me explain. So explain. But I couldn't. I sat there, mouth open, no words coming out. Because what could I say? That I'd cheated with Jerome because I was bored? That I'd offered the hall pass to ease my own guilt? That I'd destroyed us for 4 months of mediocre hotel sex with a guy who probably didn't even know my last name? That's what I thought, Shane said, pulling his hand away. I'll come by tomorrow to get my stuff. Please don't be there. And then he was gone. Just like that. 3 years erased in a 10-minute conversation over untouched Chinese food. I wish I could say I learned my lesson. That I went home, called Jerome, and ended things. That I spent time reflecting on my choices and growing as a person. But that would be a lie, and I've told enough of those. Instead, I went to Jerome's apartment, showed up uninvited, mascara running, looking for comfort from the person who'd helped me destroy my life. He answered the door in boxers, clearly not expecting company. Penny? What are you doing here? Shane left me, I sobbed, falling into his arms. Oh, that sucks. That sucks? That's all he had to say? I'd ruined my relationship for him and all he could manage was that sucks? Can I come in? I asked. He hesitated, actually hesitated. It's not really a good time. That's when I heard her, a giggle from inside the apartment, a female giggle. Who's that? I demanded. Just a friend. A friend? Look, Penny, we had fun, but it was never serious. You knew that, right? I hadn't known that. I'd thrown away Shane for someone who saw me as nothing more than a fun distraction between CrossFit classes. The cosmic joke was complete. I left Jerome's apartment and walked home in the rain, because of course it was raining. By the time I got back to my place, I had 6 missed calls from my best friend Alicia. Word traveled fast in Providence. Is it true? She asked when I finally answered. Did you really offer Shane a hall pass? How do you know about that? Tony told Mike. Mike told everyone. Girl, what were you thinking? I don't know. Were you cheating? Yes. The admission felt like relief and agony all at once. Alicia was quiet for a long moment. With Jerome? Yes? Oh, Penny. Why? I don't know, I said again. And it was the truth. I didn't know why I'd thrown away something real for something that meant nothing. I think I'm broken. You're not broken. You're just stupid. Thanks. I'm serious. Shane loved you. Like, really loved you. And you threw it away for what? Some meathead who does burpees for a living? He's not a meathead. He's currently banging Stephanie from the 6 a.m. class. What? Yeah, has been for weeks. Everyone at the gym knows. So Jerome had been cheating on me while I was cheating with him. There was something almost poetic about it. Almost. Shane came by the next day as promised. I ignored his request and was waiting when he arrived. He looked good. Tired, but good. Like maybe breaking up with me had lifted a weight off his shoulders. I asked you not to be here, he said. I know, I'm sorry, I needed to see you. Why? Because I made a mistake. Which one? The hall pass or the cheating? I flinched. You knew? I suspected. Thanks for confirming it. He'd tricked me. Steady, reliable Shane had actually tricked me into confessing. I didn't know whether to be impressed or angry. How long? He asked, starting to pack his things. 4 months. Jesus, 4 months? I'm sorry. Sorry you did it or sorry you got caught? Both. At least you're honest about that. He worked in silence, carefully packing books and DVDs and the coffee mug I'd bought him for his birthday. I watched, memorizing the way his hands moved, the little crease between his eyebrows when he concentrated, all the things I'd taken for granted. For what it's worth, I said, you were the best thing that ever happened to me. Yeah, well, you were the worst thing that happened to me, so I guess we're even. It should have hurt more than it did. Maybe I was too numb. Maybe I'd used up all my feelings on Jerome, who was currently probably using the same moves on Stephanie that he'd used on me. Will you ever forgive me? I asked. Shane paused in his packing. Maybe. Someday. But I'll never trust you again. And that's what really matters, isn't it? He was right. Trust was like a mirror. Once broken, you could piece it back together, but you'd always see the cracks. He left with 2 boxes and a duffel bag. 3 years condensed into 3 containers. I stood at the window and watched him load his car, watched him drive away without looking back. That was 7 months ago. Since then, I've learned a lot about consequences. Like how when you blow up your life, the shrapnel hits everyone around you. Shane's family, who'd welcomed me like a daughter, now crossed the street to avoid me. Our mutual friends picked sides, and surprise, surprise, they picked the guy who didn't cheat and then tried to manipulate his way out of it. Jerome dropped me from his class schedule. Apparently, I was making things awkward with Stephanie. I had to find a new gym, which meant new membership fees I couldn't afford because I'd been splitting expenses with Shane and suddenly had to cover everything myself. The marketing firm restructured, and my position was eliminated. Officially, it had nothing to do with my personal life. Unofficially, my boss's wife went to the same CrossFit, and word had gotten around that I was a homewrecker. Providence is a small city. Everyone knows everyone, and everyone knew what I'd done. I moved from our nice apartment in the east side to a studio in Olneyville. From exposed brick and hardwood floors to water stains and linoleum. From Saturday farmers markets to checking expiration dates at the dollar store. Shane, meanwhile, is thriving. I know because I stalked his social media until he blocked me, got promoted at work, bought that 2-bedroom in Federal Hill he'd been saving for, started dating someone new, a nurse from the hospital where he works, someone with a real career and probably no history of offering hall passes to cover affairs. Madison never even came to town. I found out later she'd canceled her trip due to work conflicts. So I'd blown up my entire life over a visit that never happened, a hall pass that was never needed, a cosmic balancing that existed only in my guilty imagination. The eviction notice is just the latest consequence. Turns out when you go from 2 incomes to 1 and that one gets restructured, rent becomes optional. And by optional, I mean impossible. I've got 30 days to figure out where to go. My parents live in Florida now and we're not close. The friends I have left are Shane's friends first, and they've made it clear where their loyalties lie. Alicia tries, but she's got her own life, her own relationship that doesn't involve lies and CrossFit instructors. Sometimes I run into Shane around Providence. It's a small city, like I said. He's always polite but distant, like I'm someone he used to know in another life, which I guess I am. The last time was at Whole Foods. He was with the nurse, Ashley, picking out wine for dinner. They looked comfortable together, easy. The way we used to look before I decided comfortable was boring. "Penny," he said, neutral as Switzerland. "Shane, hi." Ashley smiled at me, clearly not knowing who I was. Shane didn't introduce us. Why would he? Hey, I'm the ex who cheated on him and then tried to manipulate him into sleeping with someone else. Isn't great small talk. "How are you?" he asked, because he's still too polite not to. "I'm good," I lied. "Great, actually." "Good? That's good." We stood there for a moment, 2 people who used to share everything now struggling with basic conversation. "We should go," Ashley said gently, sensing the awkwardness. "The reservation's at 7. "Right, yeah, good seeing you, Penny." "You too." They left me standing in the wine aisle, holding a bottle of the cheap stuff I used to make fun of. The kind of wine you drink when you're trying to forget the man who brought you the good stuff just because it was Tuesday, and meant it. I went home to my soon-to-be former apartment and drank that cheap wine. Thought about Shane and Ashley at whatever nice restaurant they were going to. Thought about Jerome and Stephanie at CrossFit. Thought about Madison living her life in California, blissfully unaware that she'd been the catalyst for my self-destruction. But mostly, I thought about choices. How one choice, to kiss Jerome in that parking lot, had led to 1,000 other choices, each one taking me further from the life I'd had. How I'd chosen excitement over stability, lies over truth, manipulation over honesty. The hall pass had been my worst idea in a string of bad ideas. A desperate attempt to balance scales that could never be balanced because you can't trade betrayals like baseball cards. You can't fix cheating with more cheating. You can't manipulate your way back to trust. Shane had seen through it immediately because Shane had always seen me more clearly than I saw myself. He'd known I was unhappy before I did. He'd sensed something was wrong even when I thought I was hiding it perfectly. And when I'd finally shown him who I really was, someone capable of cheating, lying, and manipulation, he'd believed me. That's the thing about showing people your true colors. They tend to believe you. Tomorrow I'll start looking for a new place. Something even smaller, even cheaper. Maybe outside Providence altogether. Start fresh somewhere where nobody knows I'm the girl who offered her boyfriend a hall pass because she couldn't admit she was already cheating. Where I can pretend to be someone better than I am. But tonight I'm sitting in this empty apartment, surrounded by boxes I haven't started packing, drinking wine I can't afford, and thinking about Shane. About Chinese takeout and Sunday dinners and a future I traded for hotel rooms and gym attention. They say you don't know what you have until it's gone. But that's not true. I knew exactly what I had. I just thought I deserved more. Turns out I deserved exactly what I got. Nothing. The hall pass that was supposed to save my relationship became the weapon that destroyed it. And the punchline? Shane never wanted anyone else. He just wanted me. The real me, not the cheater I became or the manipulator I proved myself to be. But the real me wasn't enough for me. So how could she be enough for him? That's the thought I'll take with me when I leave Providence. That somewhere out there, Shane is building the life we planned with someone who appreciates Tuesday Chinese food and weekend home improvement projects. Someone who doesn't need CrossFit coaches or hall passes or elaborate lies to feel alive. Someone who isn't me. And maybe that's the biggest consequence of all, not the eviction or the lost friends or the studio apartment. It's knowing that I had everything I thought I wanted and threw it away because I confused being bored with being unhappy, confused attention with affection, confused the thrill of secrecy with actual passion. Shane was right. I did lose my mind. I lost it the moment I decided that what we had wasn't enough. And now I get to live with that loss forever, one eviction notice at a time.